So our speaker today is Mark Lee from Super. So I'm going to share with you a bit about him before we start. Mark Lee has 11 years experience in business strategy development as a serial entrepreneur, author, private investor, and columnist at the Herald Young News. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
Okay. After starting his career at Korea Telecom in business strategy and content investment, he has led many successful marketing campaigns and generation strategies for Gameville, Long2 Korea, and various other companies. As a co-founder of 3 startup companies in Korea, he has been executive charged with helping formulate, facilitate, and communicate an organization's plan for the future, including 2 successful M&A deals. Currently, he is the CSO at Super3. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Mark Lee, CSO of Super3.
Thank you for your introduction, Miss. And thank you everybody who is keeping your seat, because even though it's lunchtime and midnoon, but I'm so happy to see you guys in the sitting here. And I'm Mark Lee of the Super3. We are the building of blockchain-based gaming portal. It's been 12 years since I started working in this field, like the mobile game industry. I started as my career as a telecommunication company in mobile game departments. It was 2007. It was very early stage of the mobile game industry. So at that time, many of the people who are working in this field in game industry is underestimate the potential of a mobile game. They are even my coworker is still concerning about future of the mobile game. They were saying like this. They were laughing at like this. No one gonna play the game in such a small device. People will play. The user will play the only game for to kill the time without any payments. Where the spec of a mobile game cannot catch up with the PC. So mobile game cannot be the competitor of the PC game at all, or something like that. So, but we all know what happened the next 10 years after these conversations. There was a huge and enormous opportunity for us. If you knew the potential of the chance, or if we recognize the chance, that kind of chance, we could have made Angry Bird. We could have made Crash of Saga. We could have made Crash of Clan. But I believe that there's another wave is coming out. Yes, it's blockchain. So before I start introducing our project, I'd like to talk about what the blockchain is. So why everybody keeps saying that blockchain is going to be the change the world. The gaming is going to be how exactly does gaming is going to be the first industry to be disrupted by this amazing technology. So after finishing my presentation, one of you guys is consider a little bit is to jump into our the blockchain technology and new revolutions. So let's start. As you already by now, we have a global network of billions of people by using the mobile and the PC, which is all connected to each other. It was all made possible by the internet. So with this kind of internet, we can transfer the all type of data at basically no cost within the 2 or 3 seconds anywhere we want. But what about value? What about transferring the item of value? Even though it's 2018, but it still takes 2 or 3 days to complete it. To transfer to the money to the abroad, it takes more than 2 days. It's because the double spending problem. In the digital world, it's so easy to make the copy of the material, right? So when we are sending to something, we are usually sending to the copy of that. Let's say that I take a picture and send to you and you got the picture, I got the picture. It's okay, not a big deal. But what if I owe you the $20 and send to you the copy of the $20? It's gonna be, it's messed up. It's everything is like the whole economic system will be collapsed if everybody have some kind of right to make the copy of the money. That's why we need a third-party intermediary, such as bank and governments and legal office and card processing company, which is confirmed those kind of transaction is valued or not. But world has been changing. Here is the blockchain. So with this kind of blockchains, we can transfer the item of value basically no cost without any third-party intermediary. It's so important. I will talk about later. So it's kind of like a totally new paradigm and totally new concept and new era of the internet. So I'd like to talk about current states of the blockchain environment right now. I told you guys it's kind of like the new era of the internet, right? So I'd better compare this kind of situation with the history of the internet for more understanding. This chart is indicated that how the internet has been standardized and developed throughout the years. ARPANET. ARPANET is the very first model of the internet, which has only 4 nodes as connected each other, as invented in 1969. And TCP/IP. TCP/IP is, as you know, first core and standardized protocol, which is so it took 13 years after the invented. The USDCI decided to TCP/IP as the old ARPANET using this kind of standard protocol as the TCP/IP to host the computers. Here is Netscape. Netscape is the first company and service which is success to monetizing and capitalized the World Wide Web. It was in 1994. So 4 months after Netscape was released, it has taken over 3/4 of the whole browsing market. And then August 9, 1995, there was a huge success IPO, to be offered as the $14 per share. So let's talk about the Bitcoin at this time. January 3rd, 2009. That day was the genesis block of the blockchain, Bitcoin, first blockchains. After 10 years later, for now, there are so many platforms such as Ethereum and EOS. They are competing each other for the dominance to be the worldwide spread use the blockchain platform. But I'm pretty sure that we have only 2 or 3 years left until we know who is going to be the winner of this competition, who is the winner of the standardized platform as the blockchain industry. So the other question is this: who is going to be the first service or application which is a success to monetize or capitalize? What I believe, my team as the SuperTree and other industry leader believe that gaming is going to be take part of it, because most of the feature of the blockchain and cryptocurrency is really, really similar to gaming industry, like such as in-game currency or the in-game item has a real value and transfer to each other, game to game, the person to person. Something like this kind of like habit or understanding about this kind of feature will really, really helpful to adopt or easy to transit from like the game industry to the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology environments. So what I believe, as I told you guys before, one of you guys in here will be the kickstarter of this new kind of technology. We need to be prepared. So I'd like to talk about, to be simple, what the blockchain can resolve the problem. There is so many problems of our current platform at this time, especially for like the, it's hard to say like it's the Google itself, but Google other kind of like digital current like the traditional digital market has so many problems. Among that, I'd like to talk about 3 of them in this speech. The first is like a surveillance capitalism. Recently, the many service and companies are valued not by their profit, not there by net sale. Instead, valued by the how many users they got recently, how their sustainability is, how good their retention rate is, something like that. That's because the data from the active user is the more important than any other asset in nowadays. So that's why the Facebook and Amazon and the other big IT companies are more focusing on to try to get more the database. But what I try to say is like but what if they have a compensation for the have you ever guys think about why the Xiaomi is try to get your try to sell so many devices so cheaply at the cheap price? It's because like they are already collecting the information from you guys to manipulate it and control our life. It's like just saying like that. Go back to the Google. So in the Google, like they are way better than us, than ourselves, actually, basically, because like they knew where we went, where we brought, where we watched yesterday, or something like that. So someday in the future, we might ask to the Google agents like this. Google, you way better than me. So you know my personality, you know my strengths, and you know my weakness. Or so all kind of this, consider all kind of this kind of aspect. What would be my best job for my entire life? Could you recommend my spouse, which is feasible? Something like that. So this kind of like the conversation would be happen for the next 10 years or 20 years. So is it okay to you guys to sacrifice your free will to decide and in making a decision to this data harvesting company? They will analyze your data and analyze the data from like their IT basis like device or their service. It's going to be tragedy for us as a human being, I believe. Another one is fake payments. It's quite related to what I mentioned earlier. It's like a double spending problem. As I told you guys, like we need to solve this double spending problem and also need third-party intermediary, right? But what if that third-party intermediary deceive us? What if they are cheating us? There's no way for us to know the truth. Like even though let's think about we deposit the money to the bank, but there is always possibility there is not that money is on your accounts. There was a like financial crisis in 2008. Everyone have heard about that, right? So at that time, like a complicated, conservative, and A-grade finance, and so many and subprime mortgage loan, and something kind of like this. So government and banks is printed more and more money at the time, and most of people got bankruptcy at that time. So throughout this kind of financial crisis, many of us is starting asking like this kind of questions. Is it okay to believe this kind of government and bank, or are there even the like credit money? Is it really liable? Something like this kind of questions. So this kind of problem will be like solved by the blockchain and the blockchain technology very soon. Here's another problem: is a non-persistent database. I think that you have ever like the experience about the disappearance when your favorite service has gone, because like all the data is on the service is stored into the centralized server in this operating company, service operating company. So the ownership of this kind of the data is in their hands, not yours. So even though if they are terminate their service because of their business reason or certain business another kind of reason, they will decide that destroy all kind of our valuable data by their decision. So it's another big problem about non-persistent database. So now we are here. Is our solution is a play that is our vision is like the fully decentralized game platform based on the blockchain. So many make the power back to the users and back to the people, back to us. So there are three major the decentralized technology. The first one is a decentralized identity technology, which is a solve the surveillance capitalism problem. And second one, decentralized public ledger will serve the double spending problem. And lastly, decentralized CDN is a content delivery network will serve the non-persistent issues. So let's break it down. I will step by step and one by one. I think that there is not many programmer or that have a knowledge about this. So let me explain more easily, if possible, as far as I know. PKI is like the most the common encryption method in the blockchain environments. So PKI stands for the public key infrastructures. So there is two key. One is the public key and the other is a private key. They are acting as a pair. Public key is encrypt the plain text, and private key is a decoded encoded text. So even though someone who some company or some node is know your public key, is useless until they know your private key as well. So decentralized public key is we can distribute the public key each node, so no one is going to take that. It make increase the security, so no one knows exactly the public key at the same time. Also is connected to the mainnet. So once you are connected to each node, you don't need to do another job to using another service. It's connected each other, share the whole kind of data at the same time. The other is it's about the explanation is how the decentralized ledger works. This decentralized ledger is actually the main feature of the P2P network and the blockchain. It's basically fundamentally blockchain itself is like it's a globally shared public ledger with all the transaction. So with this kind of sections, like if I send you the $20, someone who is participating in the whole this kind of ecosystem will know that how exactly is the history of about this kind of like the transactions. So as I told you, if I gave you like the $20, everybody in this ecosystem will know that you have an exact $20 at that time, at this moment. So it is kind of like this kind of like information as a like the perspective of the hacker. It's a really, really hard to hack or hard to do something to, because it's hard to change every transaction at the same time for the individual nodes. So last one is about the explanation about how the decentralized CDN works. The CDN stands for the Content Delivery Network. So it's from the using this kind of thing, so we don't need to worry about losing our data because of like the central operations stop their service. Instead, the user can store the data persistently into their individual's node. And secondly, we don't need to worry about the significant slowdown with the traffic bottleneck, because we can download from the several seeder the phase delay. Something is more we can find that node is providing the faster lanes. We will find that kind of things. And the other one is we can save our operation fee as well, because like if we have to compensation for the seeder who is participating in this kind of like a CDN project, P2P basis, instead spending our money to the fee to CDN providing company. So it's much more cheaper than just paying to the service to the big IT companies like Amazon or the crowding service company. Yeah, even though I told you guys we are planning to decentralize our whole kind of system, but it won't be right now. It could take us some 2 or 3 years until that, because it's a very early stage of the technology, and we still struggling. And there's a controversial issue, which is the best framework of the platform for the whole the blockchain technology. So we will some kind of a centralized server will be remaining until it was totally fixed. Something like TPS. I have transferred the second. TPS is the main problem about until now on. It's not sufficient enough to operating the whole the global system. So as I told you guys, it's take a 2 or more than 5 years to complete it to using this kind of technology in real life. But what I try to say is we believe our vision. We know our vision. So we will not forget that. We will keep doing our best to keep the decentralized the system in next for the year. And so now we are talking about our project.